And a short time ago I spoke to Shane McLeod. He was in the inland town of Tono. Shane McLeod, we've just seen your report from Ofanato. How did that situation there compare to what you've been seeing all along that shattered coast?
It was interesting in Ofanato, Lee. It's part of the town that's been wiped out there. There are large parts of the city essentially that are intact, but there are particular suburbs, and they're known suburbs. The people there know that they're suburbs that are threatened by tsunamis, but it's just been complete obliteration, and it's almost torn the heart out of the city, just so complete the devastation is in those areas. And it's very similar to what you see in other communities right along this part of the Japanese coast.
What are local residents telling you about what they've been through?
Well, it's been interesting. You speak to people who were there on the day, and some of them said, well, we knew it was such a big earthquake, we just had to get out of town. And luckily in Ofanato there is a number of areas quite high where people can escape to. The hospital there is right up on top of a hill, so it's a good refuge point. So perhaps the casualties in Ofanato haven't been as severe as they might have been in other towns where there weren't those same opportunities. So, for example, in the last couple of days we've been in Minami Sanriku, where it almost has just completely wiped out the town. There, people didn't have the same opportunities to escape to higher ground, perhaps because it wasn't as easy to access.
Shane, what are the greatest fears of residents at the moment?
I think the main problem people are having at the moment is access to services and facilities and resources. They're not able to access petrol, for example, so it's very hard to get around. Drinking water is very hard to come by. Food, most of the shops are shut. So we saw queues today, people waiting just to buy basics from their local convenience store. I think that's probably their primary concern at the moment. People aren't talking so much about what happens next. They're just getting through each day as they can.
What about things like aftershocks, further tsunamis, the nuclear situation? Is that weighing on people's minds?
Yeah, the nuclear situation is a very severe concern, and obviously the closer you get to these nuclear facilities, that becomes a bigger concern. But we've had plenty of aftershocks. We had some substantial ones here this afternoon in this town where we're staying. They continue, and it's very difficult to just sort of ignore them, even though Japan has a lot of small earthquakes and aftershocks after bigger earthquakes. It's difficult to ignore them because the authorities here are warning people there will be big aftershocks, magnitude 7. If there's going to be a magnitude 7 earthquake as a result of a bigger earthquake, it's going to do immense damage to places that have already had a big shake.
Shane McLeod, take care of yourself. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.